Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 206. My name is Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, joined by the king of wholesale himself, Jamil Damji, Keegley, and Astro Flipping. Dude, off to a fast start this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
By the way, Pace Morby will be joining us here shortly. It is Corbin, his daughter's birthday today.
Happy birthday,
so make sure
baby girl.
happy
That's my
birthday to your
goddaughter.
goddaughter. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, Corbin. We love you.
So they are at a skate park right now for as long as that lasts. If it's anything like my kids, it'll be 10 minutes. And then they'll be over it and we'll be going home. But who knows? I wanted to run some numbers and you let me know kind of on your side of things. We got Matt Justice here who's, followed in your footsteps and has done amazing things in his business. But so far, guys, in my real estate business, we've closed this year $503,995. $503,995.
Wow,
it's the fastest start to our year
go.
ever.
Give me a high five, man. Let's go.
Fastest start ever. Let me break this down. We're getting a 7.8 times return on pay-per-click.
Okay.
Pay-per-click. Jesse Champlain in the back doing his thing,
Killing
bro.
it. Killing
Dude,
it.
I am telling you right now, if you are doing pay-per-click and you are not watching it like you're day trading, you're doing it wrong. You need to have somebody that's watching it like a hawk, day trading, knowing when to go in, when to put in what budget to put in at what time. I have no idea.
Yep.
But he does it and it's amazing. So far that's 254,000 of that, 13 deals, and we've spent 32,000. We're getting 11.2 times return on text message marketing.
Yeah, that's great.
It's low. I mean, we've made 58,000. We've done 2 deals. We've spent $5,266 so far on text message marketing, and that is with Launch Control. We're using Launch Control for that. They do a phenomenal job keeping us TCPA compliant, which is fantastic. We're getting a 6.8 times return on.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Why such low spend with an 11.2x return?
Because October of last year, texting, the carriers clamped everything down.
Right.
Shut it all down.
Yep.
So we're now building the momentum back up.
So you're doing it slow.
We're building it up.
Your text campaign is a peekaboo right now.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
And here's the thing. We're trying to be more thoughtful with it. We're trying to go for more quality with it. And we're trying to make it so that when and if the carriers clamp down again and again and again, we don't have these huge, robust campaigns that all of a sudden we're relying on get shut down.
Correct.
It's the most fickle marketing channel we have.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep.
All right.
Too much regulation.
Too much.
And too much opportunity for it to go wrong.
But I will tell you, Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, we're getting a 6.8 times return. We have young Benjamin. Do you know Benjamin? 19 years old.
No.
You've met him. Bolt REI, I think he is. Awesome.
Cool.
It's been really great. We spent 6,000 there.
What's his
and
last
made
name?
42. Hung.
Oh, I know him. He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
so
guy.
he's running your Facebook ads for you?
Facebook ads. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you got a 6.8x return?
6.8, $6,000 spend, 42,900, 2 deals.
Awesome.
In 2 deals. And then 5.4 in what's left over of our TV ads from last year. And so we've made 143,000 on those, which you look back and you're like, oh man, should we have stopped them? But we're gonna be if I can get a consistent over 6 times return on pay per click, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You can go into
But
any
I mean,
markets and go
dude,
bananas.
But here's what I love about what you're doing here. You're omnipresent.
Yeah.
You're in every channel. You're doing texting. You're going TV. You're doing. There's one thing that I'm not noticing here: bandit signs and direct mail.
No.
Which again, you know, if you really pay attention to how people are proposing you market for your wholesale deals, I still see a lot of people out there getting completely hoodwinked in the direct mail and bandit sign world, you know.
Yeah.
Direct mail especially. Like it is such an incredibly expensive way to get business.
But it's the easiest thing to coach, right?
Of course.
It's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Send out letters.
Yeah.
Automated.
Yep.
When they call, answer those calls, and then you can get deals.
Right. Yeah, because that's the guy who didn't get any deals.
Right.
And he's teaching now.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I think we know Jenna Hoover, and she does fantastic with direct mail.
Certain markets.
Smaller markets.
Very small markets.
Smaller markets, very targeted, sniper approach to direct mail. Works.
Where's your cold calling in there?
Dude, one deal, $5,000.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
So you killed cold calling?
No. I still got callers.
Yeah.
I actually hired a group of 4 out of Pakistan. Plus, I have my 2 gals. I mean, it's just a cycle. So we've got some that we're following up with. But so far this year, if we're looking at a pure ledger, you can see right here, cold calling $5,000, and I put 9,400 into it as a deposit.
So
it's negative right now.
It's negative right now.
It's negative right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Look, guys, if you're paying attention to your business, you can make data-driven decisions.
That's it.
And at the end of the day, I think you have to be wary of the way the human brain works, right? We've got these biases that exist in our brain. You know, things like confirmation bias, you know, what you already believe. If you get information right there that kind of confirms what you believe. For instance, real estate agents have this idea sometimes, wholesalers are terrible, right? And if you call, there may be some confirmation bias there that says, hey, this person's going to be what I already expect them to be. And so it's kind of a tough conversation. Again, with yourself, if you're looking at data and you're looking at what's working, what's not working, if you have here's what I love about Brent. Brent's TTP. That's just talk to people. That's not cold calling.
Right.
That's talk to people. If people are calling you, talk to people.
That's it.
Whatever it is, you're talking to people. Now, of course, he was very robust on cold calling, but he's making data-driven decisions right now. He's looking at his income, he's looking at his spend, and he's seeing, where am I getting a great multiple? I'm going to double down on where I get a great multiple, and I'm going to test and pivot and adjust where I'm not. And that's very important.
Well, the other thing is the sales cycle. So initial contact to close on inbound leads is about 50 days. From the time that we talk to them to the time that there's money in the account. And most of those are around 30 days. There's some outliers that kind of mess with that average. Cold calling and texting, it's 90 to 120 days for sure.
Yeah.
But I say that if I were calling myself, if it was just me calling and I just focused on that, it'd be a lot faster because I built the skills over time. Same with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just with agents. And, so when you hire other people to do the job, your efficiency is going to go down by 90%.
Right.
Yeah, easily. So they have to talk to 10 times more people than you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Very interesting. Very
Daniel
interesting
Chiano.
stats.
What's going on, fellas?
What a great event.
Appreciate it.
What a
man.
great event.
Appreciate
We have
it.
the champ here. There he
He's
is.
over there
Come
in
on
the
up.
corner.
Come
What
on up,
up?
Ash Bros.
Tyler
Yeah.
Townsend.
Tyler Townsend.
Yeah.
Closing deals. Say hello to everybody out
What's
there.
cracking, bro? Good to see you.
What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? How we doing?
How you feeling? You walking away the champion after Friday's event? Feeling
Yeah,
good?
dude. That was a fun event.
How many people did you talk to?
At least 8. I had to.
Yeah.
Probably like 10.
Yeah.
10, 12.
Yeah.
Um,
Nerve-wracking in front of 100 people?
At first, yeah, because I'm standing right next to Pace. Pace has got everyone around him, and then
Yeah.
some
heard
stragglers are around me a little bit, and I don't know. It was nerve wracking at
Yeah.
first, but then I got into it. I started making the first call that I made was the contract that I got. Actually,
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I had to follow up with him later in the day, but it was basically a
Cash deal,
contract.
creative deal. What was it?
It was a creative deal. Then he's like, "No, I don't want to do that." And so I said I would come in and give him cash, and gave him like $3,000 less. And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it."
Nice.
And there was comps for 220. I locked it up at like 37.5.
37,500.
What market was it in?
North Carolina.
Oh, cool, dude.
Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good job. Congratulations.
What are you going to make on it? This is a deal you get to
Well,
keep, right? Or does it just go to Daniel?
I'm keeping all of the money. You guys get nothing. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I'm making a penny off of it. We got to talk to the guy who provided the leads, but
Yeah.
these guys did the work, right? They're the ones that locked up the deals.
I'm cool giving you everything.
Look at that. See, that's why you.
I
That's
got a deal for you, actually, if you want to.
Do you really? These guys could be. I keep asking them to give me a deal
Yeah.
in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to be out here. I'm like,
Yeah.
what kind of entries? The comfortable, not too much. Give me a lower entry, the better. First deal he brings me $125,000 entry fee on a creative deal. I'm like, bro.
I said low entry fee.
It was 10%.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
come on, dude.
But no, they did a great job. Here's what's crazy about this, guys. We did one day of calling, and it goes to show that when you, bro, I love everything you just said about confirmation bias. I think that is one of the most under-discussed topics on the planet of things that hold us back, because we come into this world with these preconceived ideas of what we can and can't do. And what's crazy is in one day, these guys all went out there, less than 6 hours, made a ton of phone calls.
Yeah.
One day,
Yeah.
we got 9 contracts, 21 properties under contract in less than 6 hours.
Wow.
Awesome. Give it up, guys.
It's
Give
insane.
it up. Give it up.
Damn, dude.
Crazy. And Jerry disposed one of them like within 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Because he's Jerry. Jerry did 5 deals
Yeah.
in just over 5 hours,
Yeah.
right?
He sold 5 deals?
He didn't sell. He sold
Locked
one,
them up.
but he locked up 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still beating.
Yeah.
You still won?
Yeah, he still managed to. He paid off one of the judges. Is I think what ended up happening. Had to. Hey, you got to get in there. You got to get the Bash Pro name out there.
That's it.
But that was a great time, guys. I just want to say thank you to you guys, right? Like, honestly, I'm not here without you guys, without Pace, without you guys. You guys literally blaze this trail. And I don't care how far I go in this thing. I'm not going to stop trumpeting that. It just is what it is. We're here because of you guys.
We're here to squat up, bro.
It is, right? Like, look, when
That's the whole
nobody was,
business.
when everybody was talking about, just go get your money, and everybody was doing this crab in the bucket thing, you guys are out here giving away free game, squat up, free game. And you guys have genuinely changed the paradigm in this business. And in my opinion, what's possible in this business and the lives that are changed, thousands. You guys can't even count at this point. Of lives and generations that are changed because of what you did. I'm here to continue championing that and whatever I can. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of this.
Thank you for being the guys that you are, because at the end of the day, one of the things that I absolutely adore about this community is that when the leaders step up, you guys don't just step up and, like shine low.
Yeah.
You're coming out and you're like, listen, I've got, not only am I going to take what you do, but I'm going to slinky that in another, like, it's like, here's what I love about what's happening in these communities, right? So of course, like, look at 2 slinkies. Think about a slinky in your head, right? So we go in one direction. Now here we go. We got Daniel coming. He's like, okay, I'm going to go, but he's going to take it that much farther, right? Like, Pace is phenomenal on the phones, and everybody loved him for that. We watched how many hours of his seller calls.
Yeah.
And then Daniel comes in. He's like, okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that knowledge. I'm going to take that example. Of course, Pace can't sit on the phone all day long. That's not his job. Yeah. His job is to do other things, teach other things, and give you guys a well-rounded education. Okay, well, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take it 5x, and I'm going to take it in a direction where it's like, not only do we have these nightly dials, but now we're going to do a closer's octagon, and we're going to make this even better. And to me, that's the power of this, because at the end of the day, right, if we get to extend our skills and you guys take it 10 times farther, bro, this legacy and the impact and the lives of people that are going to be changed, it's not thousands. It'll be tens of thousands into hundreds of thousands. And God willing, one day, millions of people will have financial freedom because of the seeds that are being planted right now. So thank you. Everybody in here, thank you guys for being like that, because that's truly what's changing the game.
Yeah.
100%. Gratitude is the highest form. and the best of saying thanks, right? And the best way to show gratitude is to go out and do deals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go out and change lives.
Yeah.
Go out and actually do it.
Yeah.
Don't just watch something and be entertained by it and just be a voyeur.
Yeah.
Go out and build something.
You know, it's funny. I told this to Pace one time a while back. You know, there's no way to quantify this, right? I'm speculating a lot, but the 2008, Tyler Towns, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So before the competition, Pace was like, whoever wins this is going to have the most momentum. Like he said he thinks whoever is going to win is going to have the most momentum. I don't know if we had the most out of everyone, but we've had the most that we've ever had in our business ever. Like we have $197,000 in assignments closing on Wednesday.
Wow.
We have a JV deal with those two, a $50,000 Novation deal that's going to close in about a month. And then we have a couple other deals, and this is by far the biggest month that we've ever had. And so,
Awesome.
Plus 93 in creative deals.
Oh, okay. Plus 93,000 in creative deals, I guess. So yeah, Pace was right. The momentum is, you just have to ride it and keep riding it. And, I'm just super grateful for the team that we have and the people that are in our lives. And I'm grateful for you guys paving the way.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Much
you guys.
Awesome.
back,
That's
Appreciate
incredible.
You guys with the closer competition. It was awesome.
Appreciate
So
you.
That's
thank you.
awesome.
Congratulations, brother.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, what I was telling Pace was, and I don't know if we'll ever be able to quantify this, but 2008 was a lot, right? Lives were greatly impacted, and back then, there was really not a YouTube, to speak of that people could go and they weren't
Put the
getting
microphone towards your mouth.
They weren't
There
getting
you go.
knowledge, right? There we go. They weren't getting knowledge the way you can get it now.
The world needs that voice.
They do. And thank you very much. I genuinely believe that it is possible that a lot of the negative shift that could have happened over the last 24 months, right, 18 months, and the months to come will be stayed to a large degree because of the access to this knowledge, to this information, to solutions that people couldn't access back then without getting in contact with a mortgage and talking about loan mods, right?
Yep.
And it's crazy to imagine that you guys, through your ripple effect of efforts, may have stopped or had a large impact in reducing a recession, right? Like that's just a crazy thing to think. And I think it's a possibility, a very big one.
I mean, I appreciate that. I don't know that it's that our little niche could make that much of an impact, but if it has, look, here's the deal. Forget staying off a recession. How about keeping a family in their home?
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like to me, that when and you personally, I know have helped dozens and dozens, if not, 100 or more people in your entire career stay in their home, be able to maintain their family's dignity, to be able to make sure that they've got a place to have a shower and get to work and eat a warm meal. Like this kind of impact on that life, on that one life,
yeah.
Right? And the child who's not in a shelter, and people who aren't couch surfing or living in their car. I got 3 families living around the corner from my house that are living in a car.
Wow.
I mean, look, and I live in Arcadia. I live in a good neighborhood, and they chose a good neighborhood to live in because they aren't harassed for being in their vehicles in that neighborhood. If they put their cars in a different neighborhood and police drove by and saw heads in there or whatever it was, or, activity, they would stop and say, "What are you guys doing here? What's going on?" But they live in their vehicles and they've picked this street. And I don't know if it's a family of or who know each other, but I walk and I see them in the morning and they're getting dressed, the guy, and it's just like, my goodness, like this is the state of what's happening to many, many, many hardworking American people. And so when we understand the impact of being able to keep people in their homes or give them solutions which is what we're doing here, that to me, bro, that's the game.
Yep.
That is what I can wake up for in the morning and say, okay, we're doing something here.
Yep.
So let's give some game here.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
So you've got, let's say that you do have a pay-per-click campaign coming in, and you've got a lead coming in that's calling you, right? How do you answer the phone? What do you say? Because we're talking about different lead generation here. And really, there is a huge difference if you know how to answer that call and really understand the person versus just being a note taker about the property. Right. And that's the big difference with like these call centers that answer calls live versus you and your team answering it. I would never not have my team answer it live. So somebody calls you up and they're like, I was just on your website. How much will you give me for my house?
I'm starting with fantastic. I appreciate your calling. Why don't we start here? Tell me a little bit about the situation. What has you even on this website in the first place?
Yeah, it's a property I just inherited. We're going through probate right now, and we want to sell it.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that. Was it a family member? Maybe
it was.
Okay. Well, I mean, first and foremost, I apologize. It's got to be a tough situation. Are you the person that's kind of handling?
Yeah, I'm the personal representative.
Wow, that's tough. Yeah, it's always a tough time. Obviously, we work with a lot of people who are in your situation.
Yep.
Let me start by asking you this: are you the only person that's responsible for this, or are there other family members?
I've got a couple brothers and sisters that I'm at the end of the day the decision maker. But yeah, we just need to sell it and split it up, and I'll handle all that.
Sure. Is it an amicable thing? Everybody's getting along, or is there some tension there?
It's never, but it's okay.
Yeah, I get that. Been there. It's never fun. Our goal is obviously to make it as pleasant of a process as possible. So let me ask you this. I guess paint me a picture. What's the best case scenario for you in the next couple of weeks? If you could design the perfect situation, what does that look like? Let's see if we can help.
The attorney says that we'll have everything wrapped up at the end of February, and as soon as we can get it done, the better.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
And do you guys have a number in mind? What you were looking to get?
That's why I'm kind of reaching out to you. Sure. I'm trying to get a few bids here and there and see who's going to be the best buyer for it. And I'm responsible for getting the most out of the property. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you know if there's any mortgage or debt that's owed on the property?
No, it's free and clear.
Free and clear. Okay, gotcha. So to summarize, it's free and clear. You're the final decision maker, but there may be some pushback from family. Right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they just want me to get. I mean, they want. They want me to fight for the most. They want me to get a few different bids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk in a second about the condition of the property because that's going to be a big factor. But apart from that, have you guys decided what happens if you don't sell this property? Let's say you're not able to get the number that you guys hoped you could get because that might be a reality.
Yeah.
What happens in that circumstance?
Yeah, I mean, we're just going to try to get as much as possible, and whatever that is, we'll sell it.
Okay, perfect. At that point, I'm going to go into the numbers. I'm going to get, go into the condition. I'm going to find out where we're at. I'm going to anchor some numbers in there so that we can find out what their lowest bottom dollar is.
Yeah.
And we go from there.
Yeah. Love it. Give it up, guys.
What I want to highlight something that I think Daniel did incredibly well. Look at this, man. The mayor.
What up?
Hey,
what's up, bro?
Sorry, I actually just sent you guys a video saying I probably wasn't going to tune in tonight because you guys have Quijano here and it looks so freaking good with just you three. But I missed last week. I missed you guys. So thanks for letting me be late. For a lot of people follow me on Instagram. I just took my daughter to skateboarding class. So thanks for letting me be late.
You're the best, bro, and we love you. And happy birthday, Corbin, my little goddaughter there. I wish I could kiss her and hug her right now, but just give her all the love from me as well.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, Quijano killed it this last week, guys, for the golden ticket. Keep going, Damji.
He sure did. And I wanted to highlight the thing that you said because you created for this seller the perfect situation by asking them, "What's your perfect situation?" That to me. When you give somebody that impression, when you say, look, my goal here is to give you the perfect scenario. Now that may not end up being the perfect scenario, but because you anchored there, because you said, I'm going to give you the perfect scenario. That's where my heart is. Yeah. I think that you immediately gain so much rapport and alignment with that person because you're no longer adversarial on the phone. Yeah. You're no longer, we're in a negotiation. You are now, hey, we are in alignment. I am here to serve you. I am here to give you the best possible scenario. I am here to make this as seamless and easy as possible. Pleasant, I think, is the word you used, even though we're talking about a death, a probate.
Yeah.
So those specific nuances, I mean, everybody take notes. Listen to the words that he's using and how he's not, I mean, it's not playing games, but what he is doing is he's effectively creating painting a picture in someone's mind of how this is going to go out. And if I hang up the phone,
Can
I'm
I
going to
show
be
you
like,
what most people do?
yeah.
Call me.
Ring.
Hello, this is Bob, the home buyer.
Hi, Bob. Yeah, I was looking at your website. Looks like you guys buy houses, and I wanted to see, what kind of offer you could give me for mine.
What's the address?
123 Banana Hammock Lane.
How old's the roof?
I'm not sure.
Does the AC work?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it occupied or vacant?
It's kind of both.
Has there ever been pets in the house?
Yeah, I'm just looking to get a little bit of a number on the property, man.
Yeah, no, I get it. When do you want to sell it? What's the lowest you'll take? Guys, I am not messing around. This is not like fantasy land. This is call up somebody.
90% of the calls, man.
Seriously.
Right? And this is the thing that we've heard, like in the nightly dial pace, put us on this road for this amazing call. And we've listened to thousands of calls, maybe tens of thousands of calls in the last couple of years. The amount of people who sound like that on a phone call, Brent, it's scary.
No emotion.
None.
All, kind of robotic. I need to go through this checklist.
And I get it.
And and they're driving.
And they're
right.
Yeah.
Or something else.
And let me give some credit to those people, right? Because I get it. What you have is you got a lot of people who are brand new. They don't know what they're doing. So they're on YouTube or Instagram and they're like, "Ooh, that line sounded good." And they're duct taping sales lines together. And then they get on this phone call. And what happens is when you don't know what else to say, you just ask about property condition.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no one feels better about a conversation because you talked about your tile floors.
Yeah.
Right. And so because they don't know how to direct a conversation intentionally, they go to just whatever comes out of their mouth. And just that's not how communication works. You got to be intentional. You got to know how to be intentional. I think most people don't, at least not yet.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, and correction, guys, it's Monday's birthday today.
Monday's
not
birthday.
Corbin's birthday. Happy birthday, Monday. We love you, baby girl.
On a Monday?
Technically today is not her birthday. I had so many community events last week. It was literally
so you missed the birthday. You couldn't do something
Yes.
for her birthday. Got it.
Yes, I was speaking in Nashville, and to be honest, here's what happened. Not that you guys really care, but I say yes to an event to speak, and they're always 3-day events. And I say, hey, I need to be home on this day, and they move my day to a different day without telling me. And I said, well, hey guys, I'll let you know I got to cancel. I can't make it. It's my daughter's birthday. And they're like, well, 40% of the people bought tickets to see you. Like you were the big draw. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got home for my daughter's birthday at like 7:00 at night, and we just couldn't celebrate, sadly. So I told Laura, I said, hey, we'll celebrate Monday, this coming Monday, 5 days late. And I couldn't do it this last couple of days because guess what? We had Golden Ticket, which was lit. 400 and something people came to that. Yeah. Closers Octagon the next day, Marathon the next day, and then we had the Super Bowl party yesterday. So it was just crazy. My voice is gone from talking so damn much. I'm sure that freaking Quijano feels the same way.
It's been rough. Can you walk, bro? You were not in the best of shape yesterday.
Well, you had some great shots on the golf course, just FYI.
But it was like my second time golfing ever. I called myself Tiger Plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not Tiger Woods yet,
Right.
but like I feel like I'm in the realm of elements.
Oh, you got game?
I mean, I hit the ball twice, Jamil.
He hit the ball twice?
Tumanowski.
2 times more than I would.
Tumanowski had the whole get up, and like on my drive, I hit it as like we were not right next to each other. So I feel like that's good, right, Pace? That's not.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question here. It ties into sales a lot. It's interesting when you're brand new, right? And I understand the fear that comes with talking to sellers for the first time. But when it comes into John's question, right? John's talking about talking to buyers. Why is it that everybody in this business thinks that talking to buyers is something you have to learn how to do because the buyers, it's almost like they ask the question from a standpoint that the buyers don't want to hear from you. The sellers, I'll tell you guys the honest truth. A lot of the sellers that I talk to, or we have talked to in the past, and we've done phenomenal deals with, they don't want to talk to you. In fact, there's been sellers that are like, F you, don't ever call me back. And we call them back 3 days later. We call them back 3 days later and we get a deal. Okay. That does happen in sellers. But with buyers, Jamil, What the hell is going on? Why is it that people think that buyers need some sort of script? Do I really need a script to call a buyer and go, hey, I want to send you deals?
No, not at all. But here's where the caveat is. It's the lack of confidence in the deal. That's what causes the anxiety. Okay, because the person who is wanting to pitch the deal might have some apprehension on whether or not it's a deal or not. Maybe they're not, 100% solid on their comps. Maybe their entry fee is over what the standard would be. Maybe there are, because we've all seen those chocolate deals. And when I'm calling it chocolate, I'm just using the color. But we understand what I mean when I say that. We've all seen those, and we've
Poop.
Yeah, they're chocolate. Yeah. So
chocolate.
we see them in our inbox all day, right? You look at this deal, you comp it, you're like, bro, this is like over ARV, and you've sent this out in original condition. What are you smoking? Yeah, turds, chocolate turds, chocolate turds. But I think that's where the anxiety comes from, Pace. It's the I don't think I have a deal, or I may not have a deal, and so I feel like I've got to sell this to somebody instead of that person actually wanting it, because the value is maybe not there.
So fire emojis in the headline does not make the deal better.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or red lights,
red lights.
Or oh my God, won't last. Come on, dude.
If it won't last, you didn't have to send it out via email.
Right. You would have sold it on text message.
It would have gone to your VIP buyers.
100%. I'll still send those. One of my favorite little strategies to use is we'll sell a deal by text, and I'll send the deal out to my email list anyway.
Smart.
And then everybody who calls, I'm like, you missed it. 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 Here's what you do not to miss it. Okay. My email right now is coming to your promotions inbox. Move it to primary. Okay. Also star it. Make it your favorite, because you're obviously too slow. And so that now increases my open rates, which increases the number of deals I get to sell, which just creates more momentum. So
genius.
Don't just sell your deal and then not market that fucking awesome deal. Sell your deal and then market it, even though it's not available anymore. Do it anyways to make your buyers just really want to do the work and actually look at what you're sending out. A lot of times what's happening is you sell your deal by text, and then the only thing that comes out on your email are turds.
Yep.
And so they mute you. They turn you off because they're like, this is Turd Damji again. He's got another crap deal for me.
Hi, Jamil.
Hi, baby. I love you.
You want to blow him a kiss?
Mwah. Thank you. Oh, I got it right on my face. You're the cutest. I love your hair today, Corbin.
Did you see the video of them on the skateboard? Yeah.
So too much.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
I think this is such a great point. Now, Dimitri does have a follow-up here, Jamil. He says, you just have to be aware of how a buyer will try to manipulate you after you sell them dozens of deals. Now, I've gone through this. Brent watched me go through it. Jamil watched me go through this. People will, your buyers, if you only have 2 or 3 buyers, you will absolutely start getting manipulated from them, because they'll start looking at the HUDs and they'll go, whoa, they just made 50 G's. They just made 40 G's. They just made 30 G's. And no matter how good that buyer is, money and them counting your money starts adding up, and they start saying stuff to you like, oh, you know what? This isn't really a great deal. I can throw you a lower number. And what they're doing is they're counting on your inability to just pick up the effing phone and find another buyer to get $10,000 off the price, right? And Dimitri's correct. But let's go back to what Jamil talked about. Guys, the question was originally around newbies calling a buyer for the first time, right? You don't need to worry about being manipulated on your first couple of deals. You just need to get your deals done. And I can tell you that buyers want to hear from you. They truly do want to hear from you. Is there anything somebody can screw up? Let's throw this to all 3 boys here. Anything somebody can screw up if they call you as a wholesaler trying to sell you a deal?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Is there anything they can screw up when they're calling you to find you as a buyer?
Oh, a wholesaler. How can they screw up?
Yep. Well, anything they can screw up on their first call reaching out to you as a buyer.
I mean, they could ask first. We got to understand the mentality of the person that you're calling, right? For instance, if I'm a buyer, I'm on the road, I'm in my car, I take your call, And then all of a sudden it's just a barrage of questions, right? A barrage of questions. And they're not picking up on the fact that emotionally or through emotional intelligence, being able to hear the, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, no. So I'm doing that, right? Okay, now's not the time to ask me more questions. Now's the time to say, you know what? Sounds like you're busy, but here's what I'm going to do. Next time I call you, I'm sending you a deal, and it's going to have a minimum of how many percent that you stated you want. Get to it. Cut to the point. Cut to the scene. What we like to do, people think, oh, I'm rapport building right now. I'm asking all these questions. Actually, you're wasting my time because I'm on the buy side, right? If I'm on the buy side, I want to hear from you, but I also don't need you to sell me. Yep. Show me your abs. Let's get to it. Let's cut to the scene where we're making out. Whatever it is, I want to do that. I want to get there. I'm tired of the foreplay. Let's close the deal.
Are you tired of the foreplay though?
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
I like once or twice a week I'll get sent my own deals.
That's fun though. That means you're doing a good job.
Listen, that happens. It's when they send it after we've closed it like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? These things, but I'm getting texts on our own deals from people in North Carolina. I'm getting blown up in my DMs for people that are here locally selling the deal that we closed like 6 months ago. Like, what is happening? You know what I mean? It goes on like an Excel sheet or something.
It's
and
bad,
then people
dude.
just kind of like, oh, I got this list of properties.
Wow.
And so they're not real deals. Like, just make sure that the property is available. And even if it isn't, make sure that it's fresh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah.
I have a good one.
Yeah.
Don't go when you finally agree to a deal and then come back after you've agreed you're going to sell me a deal and say, hey, I got somebody else. They're going to give me $5,000 more.
Oh, don't.
$5,000 more.
Oh, I
trigger me.
hate those,
Don't trigger
bro.
me.
That is, oh my God.
I mean, one of the best deals I've ever done was with Jamil, and this is how we got our TV show, was because of that.
Yeah.
And homeboy it was Ryan LaRue. So shout out to Ryan LaRue. He made $60,000 ripping this bad boy. He gave us a price of $165. I said yes. He came back 5 minutes later, which is not a good sign, by the way. When you're going back and forth on a deal via text and somebody ghosts you for at least even a minute, you're like, bro, you better be driving or being like walking into the shower, right? Like, what is your excuse for not having your phone, right? You just sent me the deal. I said yes back in less than 2 minutes. Why are you not replying? He took 5 good minutes, which means he was working with another buyer. He comes back and says, well, my other buyer's at 175. So I come back and I go, hey, I'm good at 175. He said, well, the other buyer's at 175. So you got to beat the 175. Okay, 176. 5 minute pause. Another 5 minute freaking pause. So he comes back and goes, hey, other buyer's at 185. And I'm like, oh, I see where this is going. This is horrible. I see where this is going. So I text Jamil. I was like, yo, is this other asshole on the other line of this? Is their number completely out of line, or is this like asshole know what they're doing? I think they're overpaying. And Jamil replies back. He's like, I'm the other asshole. I'm the guy on the other side. So, this happens
terrible.
even in town when you're buying deals. And when you're a credible buyer, you're going to run into wholesalers trying to sell the same deal to 2 different people. And what very often happens is that those wholesalers don't make it long in the business. They just don't, right? You look at those text messages, and what you do is you go, I'm not going to reply to that person anymore. They're already people that we're not doing business mano y mano. And it's one thing if you send me a text and go, hey, I've got this sent out to people right now. I'm waiting for a reply. If you reply back first, the deal is yours. That's kind of the code of ethics in wholesale. It's who replies first, not who has the most money.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah. And that has always been the code of ethics. And so when you get somebody that bids you up, you're just like, all right, bro, you've just lost all trust in my mind. Now, we ended up making a bunch of money. Jamil and I ended up doing that deal together. It got us a TV show, which was pretty spectacular. I was happy about the result. But I was at the closing table, and he made $60,000 on that. And I told him, I go, how much are you making? He goes, I don't want to tell you. I go, dude, tell me. He says 60 grand. I go, congratulations, dude. I'm super happy for you. And I truly was. I wasn't upset about it, but I can tell you the next time he sent me a deal, you know, the last time I did a deal with Ryan was that deal.
That deal. Yep.
Right. And you lose all ability to do deals with people when you play that game. And we just, you know, people want peace in their life, peace over profits. I just want to have a peaceful life. I don't want to be wondering whether this deal is going to work out or not when I've already committed to you. I don't want to be played around with. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a really good point, Keanu.
How do you keep it from the same people responding as soon as your stuff get out, and then they're not going to be the buyer, they're another wholesaler, and then they screw it up, they don't sell the deal until the very last minute, because we both have a friend that was notorious for this over and over and over again. So there is nuance to whoever responds first.
You gotta also look, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Right.
Which happens in every market.
Yeah. It happens in every market.
Somebody like that.
The last name, right? I'm not going to say it. Anyways, he's too sensitive. But
yes.
Yeah. But I
know exactly who you're talking about. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. The second you said sensitive, I was like, oh, I know who that is.
So that dude, right?
Bro, I remember 4 years ago, I'm in a group thread with you, Evo, and Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji. This dude, drunk out of his mind. I'm in Pebble Beach, enjoying my life, and this guy sends like death threat text messages at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then the next day he's like, "Hey, you got a deal to sell me?" It's like I'm gonna come after every one of your family members. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna da 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 da. And then the next morning at like 11 o'clock, he's like, "Yo, anybody got any deals?"
It's like, bro was so drunk, he wrote "squat up." Do you remember that? You remember that?
Instead of
squat up. I'm like, bro. Cool.
Okay, so this guy who's sensitive,
squat up. Yeah,
I don't want to cut you off, but yes, I know. Yeah, just keep going. Sorry,
but no. So you discernment. At the end of the day, you got to be discerning as well, right? Because like first to commit, cool. But if you are notorious for not putting in EMD, also look, at the end of the day, if you commit right now, EMD's got to get taken to a title like today. And if by 5 o'clock we haven't received it, I'm selling the deal to somebody else. Sorry, but you didn't consummate our contract, regardless of our relationship or not. Like rules are rules, and you got to get EMD in. It's what it is, right? So not getting an EMD, not selling it to the last minute, forgetting they committed to you, all those things are garbage. Now, at the end of the day, if that person is going to like, with me, right? If I committed to a deal with you, Pace, also, if I say, hey, I'll take it at this price, and you're like, good. Now, regardless of whether or not I sold that deal, I would close it.
Right.
I would say, okay, I committed to it. I'm closing it. It doesn't matter if I can wholesale it or not, if I got a flip out of it or I lose money. If I make a commitment on a deal, I am closing it if I don't have a buyer who closes it. Right. So if you can take commitments from people that are where their word is their bond, of course, then that's a different story. So you just gotta look at the playing field that you're playing in and see who are the guys, who are the actors. Are they going to perform on their obligation and what they say? And if they are, then, more power to you.
Here's what I love about that business model, by the way, because if you really understand this business, wholesaling is acquisition and disposition. It's like it's like husband and wife.
Yeah.
They go together, but they are completely different roles. And so when I first jumped into the business, if I did not have Jamil to sell my first 100 deals for me, I would have done 15 deals in my first year, not 100. And being able to go, and here's the thing is Jamil made $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 on every one of my deals on top of what I made. But if you really think about it, I could have done 15 deals and made 20 grand each deal, or I could have done 100 deals and made 12,000, 15,000, right? Whatever it was on an average basis. What did I really want to do in my first year? I didn't want to worry about buyers. I didn't want to worry about learning how to comp, learning how to underwrite. What I wanted to do was master the ability to talk to human beings and convince them to sell their house to me. For me and my personality, right? For Quijano and his personality, for Brent Daniels and his personality, I would say more acquisition minded than disposition minded, all three of us.
Oh yeah.
If you asked me, Brent and Quijano, what would you rather do right now? Go to acquisitions, go to dispositions. All three of us naturally would want to go to acquisitions, right? Jamil is like, he's great on acquisitions. Like he is acquiring deals from those who are acquiring deals, but Jamil was just so effing good at getting so effing good at doing the disposition, which offloads, honestly, when you're a brand new person, it offloads so much uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it gives me the ability to go, I know that when Jamil says he's going to buy this deal, I can then bet on next month's marketing today. Because if, let's say that I have a deal in escrow right now, like it's, what is it, January 15th, whatever. I have to put my marketing budget in, right? Like Brent's spending money on marketing. He doesn't spend the money today and get a lead today. He's putting money in today that's going to show up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever, TV, radio, PPL, PPC, et cetera, right? You're investing for future leads. If you're brand new in the business and I get a deal today under contract and I can sell it to somebody that I absolutely know is going to close that deal, and I know in 2 weeks I'm going to have $15,000 in my bank to cover my payroll, to cover my this, to cover my marketing, oh my gosh, that is what allowed me. It wasn't even my ability to be a great acquisition person. It was the ability to forget half of the entire business and go focus on one side of the business and become incredibly good at that. And still to this day, I'm not great at disposition because I've always had that as this amazing golden plated crutch, which I love. I freaking love the crutch.
Love you, bro.
And so I just want to let people know out there, like, I think JVing, you know, the Keegley model is so brilliant because the acquisition-minded Brent Daniels, Dan Quijano, and Pace Morby's of the world that just want to be savages out in the field, we don't want to worry about who's going to buy the deal. I just want to go and meet the next seller. I want to get a contract. 5 minutes later, go, where's my next contract coming from? Not stop. This is what I see so many people fail at. They get a contract. They stop all lead generation.
Yeah.
And they focus for 3 weeks trying to make sure that this deal gets to the finish line because they want to squeeze out every dollar. So the way that I looked at it, and I'm so grateful that I had great mentors like Brent and Jamil, Bethany Willis, Eileen Brown, some of these amazing people. They were like, look, let's do the math here. You could get 2 contracts in 2 weeks if you put your time on those contracts, and you're going to make 30 grand. Or you're going to get 1 contract and make 20 grand, and you can go out and you can do the buyer situation and you can do whatever else. You'll actually make more money letting somebody else make some of the money. And I was like, hold on, show that to me on a whiteboard. And when it was shown to me on a whiteboard and I saw like the way it worked, I was like, oh my gosh. And more importantly, this is where Eileen stepped in. She goes, you need to become an expert in guys, by the way, an escrow officer told me this. You need to become a ninja at acquisitions because no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you do, somebody could drop you anywhere in the country and you could make money today knowing how to go and acquire a deal. Go focus on like earning that skill. And so I relied on Jamil for a year. I was like, I'm not even going to comp a property. I'm not going to care about how much money anybody makes. For literally a year, I did not comp a property. And this is the most crazy thing. People go, I need to learn comping. I need to learn underwriting. Yeah, you can, but what would you rather have? Would you rather have the badge that says you can go get a deal right now because you're so good at acquisitions and generating leads? Or would you rather have the badge of underwriting, comping, et cetera? Which one would you rather have? Which one's going to pay the bill?
It depends. It depends on if you have the mentality of collaborating and having people there to help you. Right?
That is correct.
That's just it. You've got to be able to differentiate in your mind. And I think the thing is, Pace, is that you got to pull yourself out of greed.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's the hardest part, is that when you covet the deal so much and every dime that goes into that's a part of it, that's the issue. That's the issue, is that it's that I don't want to give any money away. I don't want to have to share. And it goes back to this, the kid in the sandbox, right? Are you okay? Can you play in the sandbox with other kids and have a good time and actually compound your good time and have an even better time because there's more people at the party? Or are you going to be that person that's just like, no, mine? right? And we've seen that, dude. Like how many people have we seen in Arizona? Juggernauts in the business, right? We all have mutual friends, and their whole business model was highest and best. I'd try to buy a deal from these guys, and for a week they're like, we're still taking offers. Okay. All right, cool. So the price that you sent your marketing out at is not real? Well, that's the starting point. Understood. Got it. Okay. Yeah, our deals usually sell 40, 50K above the price that we marketed at. I'm like, amazing. They're not existent any longer.
Yeah, they're gone.
And
I was just in my mind thinking, where are those guys?
Yeah. They're I don't know. Now they're talking politics on social media and nothing else, right? Like it's like, okay, I guess you got to keep talking, but whatever.
The other model that I think was kind of utilized for a while was let's just have everybody meet at the house and do like a bids, like an auction style live type of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, nobody does that anymore, right? Anybody?
No, well, I mean, New Western, that's their game, right? They want to invite everybody out, and then they have the deck of cards. Okay, who wants it? And then, the 5 people who want it are like, I did this once. And I was like, yeah, me. And then there's like 4 others that are like, me. And I'm like, okay. They're like, okay, we got cards now. And whoever draws the card gets the deal.
Seriously?
Yeah. So then you'd like go and you pick a card, and it's like, this was fun. And I won. I won, right? And I left. I'm like, yeah, I'm a freaking winner. Then I find out that I have to pay all of their acquisition costs.
Wow.
And I found out I had to pay their hard money acquisition costs. And I'm like, what are the closing costs on this thing? $19,000.
30 Gs. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, I'm paying $19,000 in closing costs on this. Wow. What is happening? And I ended up selling it for this is the best part about it. I assigned that to Voldemort. And you know how he would never let me make more than $5,000 on a deal?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did. I didn't realize there was going to be $19,000 in closing costs. So I assigned it to him. And then he's like, I ain't paying this. So I had to come to title with $14,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it is what it is.
We do
the tough thing is
model. We do a bid model every day.
You bid for
absolutely.
And how does that
But
work?
Brent, you're not getting people in a house.
No. I'm not getting it like an open house, but we'll send it out, and whoever's got the best. I mean, Jeremy will negotiate for sure. It's a starting 100% bid for sure. And this isn't on every deal. I mean, we just closed an amazing deal with Matt here. It's, we want to work with people that we know that we can get the deals closed for sure. But he's got a responsibility to get as much out of that deal for us as possible.
Why not just price it there?
Because we don't know. We don't know until the market tells us. Buyers determine price. So we're just playing the game. We'll put it out at 30K. We'll put it at 20K. Put it out at 15K. We'll put it out at 70K. We don't know until it's out there. Right?
What if somebody sees your marketing, Brent,
but we don't know?
I'll take the deal at your marketing, and you're like, sorry, somebody's bidding higher. That's the answer.
He'll say, I've got a few other offers that we're looking at. If we have a few other offers,
got it.
And then he'll say, listen, I've got a higher offer. Give me your highest and best. And then once we go highest and best, we'll get it done. As long as it's somebody that's trusted. If it's
okay, here's a good question for you, Brent.
Yeah.
Let's say you send it out to your list. You've got somebody bidding high. How does Jeremy know, or sorry, let me reset the question. Does Jeremy fish out whether it's another wholesaler or an actual buyer in those conversations? Because a lot of times you'll get a wholesaler that will just grab at any price to get themselves under a contract.
He knows.
He knows. Okay.
He knows the experienced wholesalers, and he knows the experienced buyers. The other thing is we are 100% comfortable closing on every deal.
Yeah.
That's a different position.
Yeah.
That's a whole different position. I'll take it down. We'll put it on the market. I don't care. You know what I mean? This is an option for us to sell it before we close on it. This isn't just what we're going to do. And we closed on a tremendous amount more last year than we ever did. But that's when you find, Frank West Capital, and they've got 20, 30 million bucks sitting around ready to close any deals, 100% financing. You could do that once you build up a reputation. You know what I mean? With our own cash and with private money, we could close on every deal. And if we're not confident closing on a deal, why are we locking it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great
You know
question.
what I mean? So it's just it's a different position that's like, okay, we can sit back, we can have a conversation, we can see who the right buyer is and try to get the most out of every single deal. And that's because we source them ourselves.
What's your when you do I'm very interested in this because the backlash that I've seen in that model.
Yeah.
How are you keeping the buyers engaged? Because, if somebody's looking at your marketing, right, and they're like, I'm running my numbers based off of, Brent sending it out at 200 grand.
Yeah.
I call Brent and I'm like, yeah, this works. 200 grand, it works, right? So I call you, I'm like, hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Is that still available? Yeah, it's still available. Okay, I'll take it at 200. Yeah, I'm still looking at some offers. Okay, well, now I got to do all my underwriting again because I don't know how this deal is going to pencil out for me. So then it's just, he goes back to the drawing board or he's like, you know what, I'll pass. Well, how do you deal with that kind of that situation? Because I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, people get angry until they see our great deals on somebody else's list and realize it's our deals that they're buying on somebody else's list because they're not looking at our emails. So if you want great deals, you come and you look at our list. That's it. That's what it is. We lock up great deals. So you might not get this one, but you're going to get something else. And we're not trying to like Jeremy's very cool with them. You know what I mean? I think
Jeremy is very good, dude.
And the
like
position,
very good,
professional with it. Where he's not like, nope, sorry. He will never commit to somebody and then decommit.
Yes,
never.
Yep.
So if he says it's yours, it's yours.
Yep.
Even if we get 20, and this has happened plenty of times.
Yep.
Somebody else sneaks in a couple days later. They look at their thing. They do their numbers. They want to give us 20, 30 grand more. It's already done.
Yeah. I've actually been in a situation with you guys when I committed to a deal when Billy Bell was your dispo guy. And it was great because I committed to the deal. Billy said, yeah, it's yours. He hadn't even sent me the assignment yet. He got another guy in who came and wanted 20 grand more, who offered 20 grand more. Billy just said, hey, I'm sending you the assignment and I'm sending you the phone number of a guy who's going to give you 20 grand more for it. So just get it done. And I'm like, that's business right there.
Business.
That's your word. That's your honor. That's how you rock it. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. He gave me the assignment, sent me the phone number. I assigned it to homeboy. I got 20 grand and he did both for me. Right. But again, at the end of the day, that's standing up. That's how you do it upright. Right.
Well, this ties into this question. I think this is, it's something we got to remind ourselves that, although we've been doing Wholesale Hotline for 4 years, some people have never listened to the show until today, right? So this is a question we've answered multiple times. I think daisy chaining is bullshit. And I'll tell you why I mean that specifically. I encourage people to JV. What I don't encourage people to do, this is my own belief, is to lie to people and say that you're the actual buyer. When I worked hundreds and hundreds of deals with Jamil, I knew Jamil was not buying the deal. I knew he wasn't.
Yep.
And so when he told me, I go, hey, what's going on at escrow? There's something going on. He goes, let me reach out to the buyer. And I knew what was going on. But if I'm the acquisition person direct to the seller, I've got to communicate to the seller, hey, we've got to extend escrow 5 days. And I got to be able to understand the story because here's the reason why. Whatever the story is on the buyer side, sometimes I only have one chance to extend escrow. And when I understand what the hell is actually going on with the buyer, I can then go to the seller and say something that's substantially legitimate. But if it's like they're not really telling me what's going on because they're embarrassed to tell me that they're not really the buyer, that's the reason why people don't like co-wholesaling. That's the reason why people hate daisy chaining, is because of the dishonesty involved in it.
And let me add to that, when somebody looks at, like, for instance, Brent's getting his deal sent back to him, right? A week after it closes.
But they told him they were the buyer.
Or they didn't even ask. You just
they didn't even ask to send out his deal.
Yeah. No, they never asked him to send out the deal. And that's illegal.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting about that is that because they're not communicating with Brent, right? They just see it on Brent's list. They go market it themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time somebody says, yes, I'll take that deal, then they're scammering back to Jeremy, Brent's dispo guy, saying, hey, we'll take the deal. Hey, we'll take the deal. And Jeremy's like, I got 7 bids higher than this.
Yeah.
Like, just have a freaking conversation with Jeremy. Have a conversation with the people. So Alex says there's a post in Subto complaining about wholesalers coming off as a buyers. Yeah. Death to those human beings. They're not being honest.
And here's the one more thing though. Sometimes, because here's the other part. I have talked to people that have sent out a deal, and I'm a buyer, legit buyer. I'll commit, and sometimes they'll be like, "Hey, no, I can't do it for this, but I got to get this out of it." Okay, in that case, I can't be the buyer, but if you want help selling it, I can help you sell it.
The honesty is so key.
That's
it.
yeah. You pivot
Because
out,
you'll do business for
Exactly.
forever.
Yep.
Right. This is, and it's so short-sighted. What these wholesalers are doing, there's co-wholesaling and Astro Flipping, right? That's the right way to do it. Then
Yep.
there's daisy chaining. So daisy chaining to me has to be, in my mind, identified with the dishonesty of just not telling people what's really going on. I love when people make money on my deal. I love it. The fact is, you have a buyer that's ready to go. I don't have access to that buyer. That is a service that, whether you see it or not, you paid for it 15 times today. Think about Amazon. They have you as a buyer that the distributor or the manufacturer does not have you as a buyer. They deserve to make that wholesale fee. Every single thing you bought today, gas, freaking liquid death, every little thing I bought today was because somebody had me as a buyer that the manufacturer did not. Okay. I love the fees getting paid. What I don't love is, as the primary acquisition person, not getting true updates of what's going on and somebody lying to me. And then I go and I'm essentially thinking I'm telling the seller the truth to extend escrow 10 days. But I actually lied to the seller. So now when something messes up with the buyer's loan and he needs to be kicked back 30 days, right? I might have gone to the seller. Like, I'll give you a good example. I've got a deal. I sell it to, let's say, Quijano. And Quijano's not really the buyer. He says he's the buyer. And Quijano sells it to Jamil. And then Jamil sells it to Brent. Very typical. Happens all the time. But Quijano told me he was the buyer. Okay. So Brent's loan gets kicked down the road. His lender's going to take a couple of extra weeks. This also happens all the freaking time.
Mm-hmm.
There's no problem with it, especially when it's communicated. But that's not what's happening. Quijano just says, hey, man, I need like 2 more days. Just 2 more days. Jamil, have you ever heard that bullshit?
All the time.
Okay, I need 2
All
more
the
days.
time.
So now this is what I hear from Quijano. I go back to the seller. I go, hey, seller. And I'm like trying to overdo the communication. So I go, all right, seller, I need 5 days. I think the loan is blah, 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 blah. Give me 5 days. Seller's like, no problem, Pace. Okay, on 6th day, I'm now going, what the heck is going on, Quijano? Oh, it's this, and now it's another thing. And the reality is Quijano doesn't know because Jamil is actually the person that knows. And so I'm being lied to, which then means I'm lying to the seller. And that is why our business has a bad rap.
Yep.
We have a bad rap in this business because of daisy chaining. I want people to make so much effing money off my deals. I want them to make money. But what I'd rather Quijano do is go, hey, I don't know. Let me find out. My buyer might be tripped up. Give me 24 hours. I'll call my buyer. I'll figure it out. Quijano should be calling Jamil and going, hey, what's going on with the buyer? I need to know because I'm going to tell my acquisition contact to push escrow back. And I need to make sure we're not going to have him do it a second time. So if you need 20 days, I'm going to ask for 30. If you need 30 days, I'm going to ask for 40. And more importantly, I'm going to ask you for more earnest money, right? Like that communication is why Astro Flipping, co-wholesaling, JVing, squatting up has a good name. But daisy chaining is so frustrating as an acquisition person where I'm just like, F you, I never want to do business with you again. Even though we all made money together, I can't do business with you because you're turning me into a liar because you lied to me.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Like for me, integrity is huge, right? Like if I have this weird idea that if you say something that you made a commitment, right?
Yeah.
I've told the story about when the Nightly Dial started. I don't even know if Pace has heard me say this story. When the Nightly Dial started a couple of years ago, I had just gotten out of a bad business partnership. I was rebuilding my business, wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then like a week later, my grandma died, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was handling it all for my family, right? Because they couldn't handle it. And so I had to make a decision. I said, well, I'm definitely doing the family thing. I can either focus on rebuilding my business or focus on this new call called the Nightly Dial, right? And there was 200-300 people a night, 4 hours a night. Well, what did I stick with? I stuck with the Nightly Dial.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start building my business again for like 4 months, right? Why? Because I said I would.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And so for me, don't get me wrong, things happen. And sometimes your word is not kept because stuff happens. And I get that if you got to do your part to make that right. But as a general rule, this idea of integrity is lost. It's like, I'm going to be a person of integrity if it's convenient or if it works out.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes that's done from a place of malice.
Yep.
Sometimes it's done from a place of whatever else. Why do you guys think that is? Why, when a new wholesaler comes into this business and has the ability to say, you know what, I'm new, I'm just trying to figure this out, bear with me, I know a guy who knows a guy, can you give me a shot? Why don't they say that? Right. And instead they say something like, yeah, I'll buy the deal. Like, why is that the option?
They're taught that.
Yeah, because
They're taught that.
they're being told that bait and switch is gonna get you what you're looking for,
Mhm.
but it dilutes you,
Yeah.
right? They don't want to be honest about that. They're not like, hey, here's the deal. You don't have it sold yet, right? No, you need some help selling it, or and look, when I've JV'd thousands of deals, right? And I'll talk to a wholesaler and they'll say, nah, I don't want a JV. No problem. All good. How long's your inspection period on this thing? I got 10 days. Dope. I'll call him on day 7. How's it looking?
Yeah.
I could use your help now. Great.
Mhm.
I'll step in. I'm not making you any promises. If I had the opportunity to help you sell this on day 1, we probably would have EMD in by now and be clear to close, but I'll do my best. And at least you're honest, right? At least you come in and you're like, hey, look, this is what I can do. This is how I'm going to play it. This is what the game is. But at the end of the day, I think not only are they being taught that, but it's like they feel like, hey, if I got to bring somebody else into this conversation, then I don't feel like I have any value.
Interesting.
And I think that idea of I don't think I have any value stops somebody from actually being honest, because you do have value.
Yeah.
If I'm valuable because I can connect to Quijano or I can connect to Brent, that I have value in that. I've brought value to the table because you don't have this relationship with this guy. I do.
Yeah.
So, and I can bring that to the table, but it's this misperception in someone's head that, well, if I got to count on somebody else, then I can't be counted on personally.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think is going on.
And integrity, remember at the seed of this whole transaction, there is a seller.
Yeah.
Right? That is relying on what is said on this purchase agreement to happen.
Mm-hmm.
This is the whole relationship they have with us. We're most of the time strangers to these people. We build a relationship. They feel comfortable. They trust us to get the job done. So when you're selling your deals, guys, understand this. 100%. I said it was 99% of my live show last week. I think it's 100%. 100% of the issues pop up after you get the contract signed.
I agree with that.
After you get the agreement signed.
Yes.
And if you're giving that over to somebody that you have no idea what their reputation is, what their background is, what their experience level is, if they're good at business, not good at business, if they actually know what they're doing or not, you are taking a huge risk on having to go back and try to salvage the relationship that you've built with this property owner. And that's why people are angry. That's why real estate agents get angry at us, is because the seller is sometimes left. They've got all their stuff packed up. They're ready to move. They're ready to get out of town. They're ready for their money. They've never sold a property before. They thought they were literally getting a suitcase full of cash at the end of this thing at 10 a.m. on Friday, the closing date.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
We just went through this. The guy was hiding his truck because they were going to repo his truck, and we had to close the deal as soon as possible so he could pay off that, so he didn't have to hide his truck anymore. They literally expect cash that day, right? And we're like, well, we're trying to get it closed, and if you don't have communication with whoever you're selling the deal to, and you don't have a really strong trust that they can get the job done, because I agree with you, Pace. When I was getting started, it was all about selling the deals to somebody that had all the buyers and it was getting closed, so I could stay head down, focus.
How many deals did we do in that?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
I mean, that it was just, you just stay focused as you're building out your business. And if you don't know the person that you're selling your deal to, it is nerve-wracking, and you're up at night and you're worried about it. And I just see students going through this over and over and over because somebody came in, they're like, I'm going to get that deal. Okay, great. Yeah, they said they put earnest money in 7 days.
No.
Like,
Or the other trick they'll do is like, hey, I'm the buyer, but I need a 3-day inspection period.
Well, that's yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, dude, come on.
Yeah.
If you are actually a buyer, you don't need an inspection period on a wholesale deal. That's just because I know you want to wholesale it. How about
if you're an actual buyer that's actually flipping or doing the burst strategy, you rarely even go to the, I'm telling you, real buyers rarely go to the property. They look at your photos. They go, yep, this is a good deal. I like it. And they account for $10,000 in BS.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's $10,000 of stuff that this photo does not show me and I'm not going to see, right? If you do adequate photos, right? The way that Jamil teaches, you do adequate descriptions, you take photos of the serial numbers on the hot water heater and the air conditioning unit and all of these things, you're actually an intelligent wholesaler. Your buyer rarely needs to actually go to the property. Out of the flips, hundreds and hundreds of flips I've done, I've probably been to 20 of them before I ever close escrow. I know what I'm getting into. I know it's an as-is property, and I know I don't get an inspection. When I commit to that deal, and I'm the actual buyer, and I'm going to flip it, there's no inspection period. It's over. Mm-hmm. Jamil has the inspection period. Keegley has the inspection period. I do not. And so when you say, oh, I need 3-day inspection period, and I need to get my contractors in there, okay. No, you don't.
Here's my letter of intent for earnest money.
Oh my gosh. Get out.
A letter of intent for earnest money?
Oh yeah.
It's a freaking sticky note that says I owe you. Yeah, but this is the question you've got to ask as a wholesaler is that when somebody says, hey, I'm a buyer, say, perfect. Are you actually the buyer or do you intend to wholesale this? If you intend to wholesale this, I'm cool with it. I just need to know how we are going to communicate through this deal.
And so you guys, some of the biggest in the game, right? To remove the apprehension for people who think they need to lie. I actually teach against lying in sales conversations.
You should always teach against lying.
Right. It's just like be skilled enough to be able to get the deal done without having to lie. Right. Just tell the truth.
Yeah. And if you are going to wholesale a deal and you want to be, and you're walk in and say, hey, look, dude, I like this deal. I think I've got a buyer for it, or I think I could bring a buyer for it. Obviously you're marketing it right now and I don't want to step on your toes, but are you okay if I send this out to my buyers? I'm going to shoot you over a quick non-exclusive option, just gives me equitable interest so that I can send it to my people. If they're like, nah, I don't want to sign an option. Okay. You just give me written permission that I can at least send this to my handful of buyers to bring you a buyer. That's all I'm looking for. They'll either do that or not do that. Yep. But then they understand you're bringing a buyer. You're not the buyer. You're bringing a buyer. It's been very clearly communicated. I'm bringing somebody to the table. I don't know if they're going to purchase or not, but I'm going to try to do that. Nobody can fault you for that.
So you guys are not going to stop doing business with someone if they come in and with integrity tell you that's what they're trying to accomplish.
No, can I tell? Let me tell you the opposite. Okay, check this out. I actually have the opposite feeling. I had somebody sell me a fourplex inside a subto, and it was a subto deal. I just closed on it 2 months ago. The person who brought it to me was Eric. Okay, Eric, my camera guy. Eric scouring the Facebook group and looking for deals that I specifically want because he's like, oh, I have a buyer. Like I know exactly what Pace wants. I'll go through 100 deals to find the one deal that Pace wants. He's not going to buy in 49 other states. Eric finds the deal, communicates with the wholesaler who does the deal. Eric makes a $5,000 co-wholesale fee. He tells the student, I have a buyer. I am going to wholesale this. Are you okay with me making $5,000? The way that I train people to do it. Eric makes $5,000. Guess what happens? The next deal that wholesaler gets, guess what that wholesaler does?
Sends it right to you.
Sends it right to me. And I said, hey, what's my reply? I said, hey, let me copy Eric on this deal. Yeah, because my agreement with Eric is that if he brings me somebody who has a steady flow, is I will include Eric in every single one of those deals up to 10 deals, or as long as he continues to provide value. And so the reply was, dude, you just taught me a massive lesson of ethics here. And I'm like, this isn't about one deal, my friend. It's not even about 1 year of deals. It's not even about 10 years of deals. It is a lifetime of relationships. I mean, look at the people who actually have lasted in this business, right? The people who have lasted in this business in the influence space are the people who are doing it the proper way. The people who fall away. I mean, there was a guy, I don't know if he's still around. I ended up blocking him on social media because I could not stand what he was teaching. He was teaching people. He would charge them a $25,000 2-day event And what he was teaching was, we're going to get the seller under contract. We're going to go all the way through our inspection period. And I'm going to teach you the day of escrow, we're going to renegotiate and go to cancel the contract, renegotiate with the seller at the last minute. That was literally his entire strategy. And he was charging people 25. Do you remember when this guy was doing this?
Oh, 100%, dude.
I blocked him out.
The excuse was, well, sellers lie to us, we could lie to them.
Jesus.
It was so bad. And I'm like, where's that guy now? He's doing like EIDL credits and whatever else. Like, he's doing anything but real estate now.
Yeah.
Right. So I just look
Amazon
at the
FBA or some BS.
Right. And I look at the longevity of the business, the people who have been in here, and it's always the people that are like, look, I'm okay letting somebody make $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 on my deal by communicating with me properly. And more importantly, a relationship to me, one relationship to me is worth millions of dollars. So what is it to me if I let Eric make an extra $5,000 on every deal that I do? I'm going to make a crap ton of money on this thing. $5,000 doesn't mean anything to me, but the relationship does. And Eric replies to me, he's like, I didn't expect you to keep me in the deal. And I was like, good people do what you don't expect them to do. They go above and beyond the call of duty. So for me, Keanu, it's the opposite. It is, if my buyer tries to work me out of the deal, or somebody tries to work my middleman out of the deal, I will call them out on it and go, hey, make sure that this guy found you. He brought this relationship to me. And I always have a relationship for my bird dogs. I go, for the first 10 deals you do, I'll make sure nobody works around us. We will work those 10 deals together. If you continue to bring me people, now here's the caveat. I can't just pay you in perpetuity. You got to bring value. And so one of the things with Eric is, Eric's like, well, what's a way I can bring value? And I go, bring me another person that's doing deals. Be my bird dog. Go find more people for me. And you keep bringing those people. I'll keep paying you on all these deals. Because at some point, let's be honest, the middleman, the bird dog, once the deal finder and the deal buyer know each other and have done 5 deals, what value does Eric bring in that relationship there? He doesn't anymore. He buffers, he saves me a little bit of time, but is it worth $5,000? Not necessarily, but what is worth $5,000 is the longevity of that relationship. Now, if Eric just lays over and he goes, all right, well, I made $50,000 this year bringing you deals, I'm going to stop working. I'm going to be like, bro, go find me another wholesaler that's going to sell me more deals, and I'll keep you tied in. So that's how I work my middlemen. My bird dogs, as long as they continue to work, I'll keep them involved.
Well, it's like Spencer Caldwell's model. You know what I mean? Where he doesn't increase the wholesale price. He just charges $1,500 if you win the bid. And so all of his buyers love him because, one, they just feel better about him only making $1,500. You know what I mean? Maybe $3,000 sometimes. But 2, they just look at his list. He trains them just to look at his list, and he only sells other people's deals.
Yeah,
only
he in my opinion is probably like the closest second in volume to what we're doing here in town. I actually went to his grand opening at his barbecue shop over there in Gilbert the other day, or Queen Creek, actually. Yeah. And you guys all got to go check it out, actually. Caldwell County Barbecue. They opened up this like playhouse in Queen Creek. Your kids would love it, Pace. It's got like a big ropes course. They've got VR inside. They've got a go-kart track. It's like incredible. And then they've got delicious barbecue. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and I'm like, and he was going over his numbers. I mean, the guy is pulling 500-600 houses a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Just him and an assistant.
Yeah. Just, it keeps it real tight. Super, super, super tight. And, like you said, $1,500, $3,000 a deal. I mean, this guy's carving himself out $700,000 a year, and he's doing no acquisitions.
I did a 30-minute podcast with him, and it's great. It's on my YouTube channel. You got to check it out. Spencer Caldwell, just Google that. And he, after the podcast, and it was like a 4:00 podcast. It was right before this show. He had 72 text messages in a half hour.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
He loves the action.
Yeah.
He just loves the action.
Yeah.
He's just great. He knows how to build teams really well too. Anthony Johnson, this is really good. I think we got to solve this. I like Anthony a lot, so I'm not going to come after you, Anthony, but I want to change the perception here. He says, unfortunately, not everyone are as real as you pace. It should be, fortunately, not everyone is as real as you pace. You should be happy Because what happens is these people filter themselves out. When somebody screws you, thank them, pat them on the butt and say, good game. I'll never see you again. You're not going to be in this business in 24 months. It is tried and true. There's nobody I've ever met in this business that has continued to screw people over that's around. They get weeded out. They leave the industry because they become the black sheep. They become a pariah. I am so grateful for those people because they leave. They can't last. The other thing too is it teaches you amazing lessons. It teaches you who you want to double down with and who you don't want to double down with. So for example, hypothetically, let's say somebody came to me, somebody that took advantage of other people, and they say, hey, I'll pay you $10,000 more than Jamil on this deal. Who am I going with? I'm going with Jamil. Like it's because I'm a business person. The problem is newbies get sucked into that. But guess what? You get burned once or twice. Pray to God that you get burned. Pray to God and say, please let me get burned so that these words are not just words to you. You get burned on the hand. You know what the hot stove feels like. It is a fortunate thing when you run into these people because now you know what we're talking right now is not just words. It is the way the business is done. And by the way, if you can find a business that doesn't have this exact stuff going on in it, find one business that doesn't have these people in it. I'll pay you $1,000 if you can tell me a business that doesn't have black sheep in it.
Yep.
Be thankful for these people. Be grateful for the lessons. Every single reason why we're successful today is because somebody took advantage of us. Something bad happened. A lesson was learned, and we move forward with more strength and more calluses all over our body. So I think it's fortunate. Some of the best things that have ever happened to me were bad things that now empower me to do better business. So I do like the sentiment, but the reality is you should be grateful for that. Be grateful for the hateful. That's it.
Nice.
Can I tell you a crazy deal we just closed? So Matt and I were working on this deal, sixplex in Tucson. Great deal. 100K spread. Said we kept 72. He got 5. Buyer switches financing 2 days before close, right? We're not going to buy it cash. We're going to do a hard money Nova Home Loans, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to get this thing canceled and then we'll resell it to somebody else. So I close on it last Monday. And we agreed, you know what? If Nova Home Loans can get it done in a week, by the end of the week, done deal, right? They have to get the appraisal. They got to do the underwriting. They got to do it's a rent credit back at close too. I was like, there's no way. There's no way a conventional loan is going to get done. Recorded today.
Conventional.
Wow. What is going on with these banks?
I mean, some of them are just, they got it together.
Wow.
That's
the
surprising.
appraisal and the underwriting.
That's
and
very
all
fast.
the,
It happened in a
all of it?
week. Happened in a week?
In a week.
I never heard of it.
I bought it last Monday. No seasoning. Appraisal done.
Wow.
I gotta dig into this because I gotta see what's going on with conventional financing because there might be either a really crazy boom here or some shenanigans, right?
Well, you got money, right? It's actually in your bank.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Well,
good.
they could have just
not
closed
worried
it off
about
their
that.
warehouse
I'm just worried
line.
I'm not even. I'm just saying, like, when was the last time you like a
No,
conventional lender?
I've never
closed
seen that in a week.
in
dude.
a week
I've never seen it before.
I've never
on
seen it in a
something
week.
I just like I wasn't
Over
the owner.
over 7,000 wholesale deals, dude. I've never heard of that before in my life.
Right?
Never heard of that before in my life. It's fucking Santa Claus.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is happening?
Mike Leahay says, this is great info. I got screwed by a local guru in Atlanta and he cheated me out of 2 assignment fees. Perfect. Awesome. I don't know how that happens. There was somebody actually asked a question a little bit earlier about if I send out, and this is, we'll see how often this happens with you guys, but I now close 90, maybe 95% of what I touch, see, we find most everything. Like last year we bought $165 million in real estate. I'm primarily a buyer now. So I'm curious what you guys are seeing right now in this marketplace. If I send out a deal to my email list, Jamil, Brent, Quijano, how do I keep my buyers from calling my seller and screwing me out of the deal?
You don't. You have to have a really strong conversation with the seller, or you close on it before, huh?
But when do I have that conversation?
As you go through the purchase agreement.
Okay. And what are some of the things I should be saying to the seller?
Yeah, listen, it's in the purchase agreement that we have the right to market the property. So we're going to be marketing the property to a bunch of the people that we do business with. And they might buy it. That's one of our exit strategies.
But if you get somebody who comes over here and knocks on the door or calls you, that tells you what their ethics are. That tells you the kind of person they are. These aren't the kind of people that are actually going to perform or be what they say they're going to be, because look at how they're squirming around to try to do business. It's going to happen. I'm letting you know right now. There's a high likelihood that it's going to happen. So when these people call, say, you know what? I actually heard this was going to happen. F off.
This is why you can't do what Brent said at the beginning. Don't call and just talk about the roof for 5 hours.
100%.
Have a real conversation with these people. If you do your job right, by the end of the conversation, when they're signing that contract, they're not reluctantly, signing the paper. They're glad that they met you. They're happy that they found the person that's solving their problem, and there's nobody else they're going to want to do business with. Pace, the bunny story.
And you have to get to that point too, because the conversation has to be made. Once you agree to this, you can't back out. You can't sell to somebody else. Do you understand that? That is the conversation. You can't have that conversation if you do not have a relationship or rapport with that seller.
Pace, the bunny story. Would that seller have sold to they could have sold to somebody else for more, but that's where the real relationship comes into play.
Yeah. Jamil, the district?
Yeah.
The first company that I ever went up against.
Oh my God, dude.
Are they still in business?
Oh, bro.
Are they around? They're not.
No, they're out of business, man. Little fool.
Okay, so the district was the first company that had an offer at 165, and I had to be at 150 on this deal. They had an offer at 165, and she went with me at 150. So it wasn't if she had a higher offer. She had a higher offer. She still sold to me at 150. And it was because of the solution I provided to her. I also walked through kind of like what Brent is saying too, is that when you're going through the purchase and sale agreement, you tell them the next steps.
Yeah.
You go, all right. Now that we're signed, you're sitting there, you're literally like taking the paper, you're like, you're getting the paper all the 7 pages, like getting them all nice and straight. All right. So are you okay if I tell you the next couple of steps that are going to happen over the next 10 days or so? Okay, cool. So I'm going to go open up escrow. What that means is this, and you're going to get a phone call from this person. You're going to get a phone call from this person. You're going to get a phone call from this person. These people are doing this, this, and this, and you're going to want to talk to them. What's also going to happen is I'm going to go and put this agreement on public record to show everybody how serious I am about buying this property. That's called a memorandum. Okay. A memorandum is going to let the world know that you and I'm so serious about this purchase agreement and this purchase price and the close of escrow date that I'm going to let you and everybody else know that's how serious I am. So what's going to happen is people are going to see that on public record. This is how I did it. Okay. Cause I usually will close my deals or I'll double close, especially when you're doing a big juicy deal.
Yep.
And so I would say, people are going to call you and they're going to try and work. They're going to say, ooh, Pace just got Janie under contract. I'm going to call and offer more money. So I'm going to say, people are going to see me putting this against your property. People are going to see me talking about it. People are going to see me looking and applying for financing. People are going to know that you and I are under contract. The only 3 people you want to talk to are these 3 people. The other 10 people are going to call you. They're just snakes trying to steal a deal or trying to undermine our relationship.
Yep.
That's all you have to say.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of times people don't do that. And what I see a lot of wholesalers do is they'll go in there, they'll get a contract signed. I know the feeling. Holy crap, do I know the feeling? You're so elated and excited that you got the contract that you run out of there without doing any of that.
I don't want to screw this up. I don't want to screw this up. I got to get out of here.
That's exactly it.
You've also been holding that fart in for an hour and a half, so it's time to leave.
There was also a really great story. I'll tell you.
As soon as you walk out the doors.
Oh, God, you get in your car and it is just
done. Man, I can't wait to get out of this house.
There's pre-work before the contract and there's after work after the contract, obviously, right? When you're making this kind of money, there's work involved, right? And be grateful there's work involved because it keeps all the ruffians out. But Anna Martinez, I don't know if you guys remember her. She used to work for me until a couple of years ago. And Anna, I'm out of town. I'm speaking on stage and I get a lead that comes in. And this is back 5 years ago when I was still going on appointments. And I couldn't go on the appointment. I was on stage, obviously. And it was a hot lead. The seller says, I'm good to go at 200. I look at the number, like, dude, 200 is a good number. Let's get this freaking thing locked up. I call Anna. I go, hey, I don't have anybody else to go on this appointment. This is 5 years ago, and I would go on every single appointment, right? And I go, hey, Anna, can you take this appointment? She goes, no problem. But I've never gone on one without you. I go, no problem. All you got to do is go in there and say, okay, well, 200,000 is a little steep for us. Let me go outside. Let me, talk to my boss. We're probably going to be closer to 180, maybe 185. Let me call my boss and see if I can get him to come up. And even if you sign at 200,000 at the end of the day, make him feel like he earned that $200,000. So she calls me up, or she calls me on the drive down there. She's like, hey, I'll let you know how it goes. I go, no, don't let me know how it goes. Call me in the appointment and we'll talk about anything but the appointment. But he needs to see that you're out on the phone with me so that he knows you're working hard to get up to that $200,000 number. So she doesn't call me. She calls me like 2 hours later. She goes, hey, I got the contract at 200. I go, he's going to cancel. She goes, what do you mean he's going to cancel? I go, you didn't do the upfront work, the upfront contracts, and you did not do the follow-up conversations. You got so excited once his pen hit that paper, you ran out of that appointment. He's going to call and he's going to cancel tomorrow. Sure enough, she doesn't do anything I told her to do. She just goes in there and goes, we're good at 200,000. Sign the contract. He goes, oh, okay. Signs the contract, calls us the next day, says, I'm canceling the contract. I decided not to sell my house anymore. Okay. Yeah. So I call him up and I go, hey, look, here's the story. Anna should have made you work. I literally just laid it out for him. I go, Anna should have made you work for it. And she didn't. And he goes, yeah, she didn't. She made me feel like I left money on the table. She made me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Anna. Oh my gosh. So I said, look, what do we got to do to keep you at the $200,000? Do I got to, yell and scream at you and say, you're ripping me off? And he goes, actually, I feel kind of stupid that I needed to be manipulated to be at 200 just to feel good about $200,000. And we went through with the contract, but she didn't do the upfront work and she didn't do the afterward work. And he felt comfortable calling the next day saying, I'm canceling the contract and saying, I'm not selling anymore. That's not what happens. They're not going to let you come to the house and they're not going to go through a contract and then the next day cancel the contract because they decided not to sell. You didn't do your job. You didn't build a strong enough relationship. You didn't walk them through the process. You didn't tell them what you're doing. You did not build a relationship. This is what Quijano is talking about. So, there's the upfront contract and there's the after the contract conversation that has to happen.
Beautiful. Yep. We're almost there, but I wanted to. What do you got going on this week?
Just a great week. Just doing deals.
We
got 8 more deals to sell on top of what I was talking about.
Damn, dog. Sell me a deal, motherfucker.
So
what you got?
You know who you talk to.
All right. Oh, talk to Jeremy so he can make me do highest and best.
Get him so mad.
No, I ain't doing that. I'm not calling Jeremy. Anyways.
If you win the bid, you get a card.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna be cold.
I won't give you a card.
I'm gonna be cold calling homeowners. If you want to hear how I rock it, yeah.
Oh.
Well, look, the reason why I'm doing it is I'm proving the data.
Yeah.
The data that I've been getting is like 16 times better than the data that I used to get. Yeah. And so I'm not doing it to show off that I'm good at cold calling. I'm doing it to show off that look at how many people answer the phone. Which if you are getting a hold of people and you're trying this and you just get the wrong number all flipping day long, that's got to stop. That's a waste of money. It's a waste of time. So yeah, check it out. There's a link in the chat. Love to see you guys on it.
Love that. Doing a follow-up series, actually. Going to be doing some feedback on some of the calls from the competition.
Awesome.
So it's going to be good. We're going to be doing some follow-up and just kind of walk people through what the conversations were like, what they were supposed to sound like, and things like that.
What you got, Pacer?
I've got the Elephant Challenge this week. So if you guys are looking to get your first deal, our subto community comes together and forms teams that you can join and get your first deal. It's really fun. Every month we see about 50 to 70 non-students get their first deal from the help of students in our community. So the Elephant Challenge, go to elephantchallenge.info. I do it every month for 3 days. It's live activity. It's live submitting offers. It's live team building, all that kind of stuff. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Speaking of elephant, did you run that marathon?
Can you not tell by my voice?
I just thought you were talking all day.
That too. I was talking while I was doing the marathon. I did 26 hours straight, 26 miles, did all the things. No, I got to mile 18.
That's insane. Without training?
Without training. Here's what's insane
Bro,
about
I
it.
would have died.
Bro,
I would have been a skeleton.
When you told me the other day, you're like, you are insane for doing a marathon. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I did a Spartan race on a mountain, bro.
That's not the same.
14 miles up and down a mountain, left and right, 32 obstacles.
Yep.
Marathon's 3 times harder than a beast Spartan.
Yep.
3 times harder.
Great. 18 miles is incredible. Have you ever ran that far?
No. Have you seen me?
It's like,
bro.
When you were like young, you were, running around.
Not 18 miles running around.
I was in the military. We ran for recreation, and I loathed every second of
me
it.
too.
Yeah.
Pace, that's an incredible feat, though, dude. Like that is phenomenal. What's one thing that you learned about yourself in that process? Because I'm sure, they're saying all kinds of things in your head. All kinds of thoughts are popping up. What did you learn about yourself in making it that far and doing that?
There's like 50 lessons. I wish I had the time to just break down as you're running through. One, everything's more fun with other people. Okay, I learned that. I'm just like I'm a herd animal. I just want to be around other people. 2, what you're listening to matters. Right. So when I'm listening to Kanye West, I run a little bit better. Right. When I'm listening to like a podcast and it's like motivational, I run a little bit better, not even trying. It just, what's going into your brain just energizes you. 2 or 3, there were moments where I just wanted to quit. And I'll tell you this funny moment. So I get to mile 10. I've never ran 10 miles in my life. I've ran 9. And I get to 9, no training. And I'm like running an 8.5 minute mile, 9 miles straight, no stop, up and down hills, all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden my knees feel like somebody just pounded them on both sides with hammers, just boom, boom, boom. Can't even walk. Like you're stiffening up. I go, oh my gosh, there's an In-N-Out burger coming up on mile 10. I'm not joking. So I go, I did it. I beat my personal best. And so what I learned about myself is that if I incrementally do just a little bit better, I will, as a human being, naturally give up. Okay. So I'm like, oh, I'll get my reward. I'll have a shake. I'll call my wife, tell her to come pick my bitch ass up. Let me go do all this stuff. Right. So I'm literally about to veer off the path on mile 10. I've accomplished my personal best. Okay. And this girl walks up behind me. Her name is Sahar. And she says, hey, are you walking by yourself? Do you mind if I walk with you? And I was like, and I was about to say, I'm going to go get a cheeseburger.
I'm not even in the race.
I'm not even in the race anymore. I'm out. Deuces. I already did my personal best. She says, I just went through chemo and I'm looking for a friend.
Awesome.
Wow.
And so I'm like, huh? I have not gone through chemo and I'm about to go get a cheeseburger. What kind of piece of crap am I? So she says, I just flew here on my own. I have no friends here and I just need some like mental health help getting across the finish line. And so a cancer survivor from 2 weeks ago that still has to have a portion of her mass removed next week, her doctor told her, you are never going to run a marathon in your life, right? Wow. And she says, no, I'm going to fly out to the next marathon I find on Google, and I'm going to sign up, and I'm going to go finish that marathon. And she got me all the way to mile 18 until I literally could not walk anymore. And so she doubled.
Sahar, you said her name is?
Yeah, she's Indian. We talked about you for a long time. She was from Pakistan.
She's single?
No, she is single. She's from Houston. She's like, here's the problem. I'm an Indian woman. I'm a Pakistan woman in Houston, born and raised in Texas. And I need a man that does not treat me like I'm from the Middle East anymore. I need a guy that's like a Houstonian, but also Pakistan. I was like, all right, you got a niche within a niche within a niche. Anyway, she's like, does Jamil? I told her about the TV show. She's like, does Jamil have any friends? Bro, by the way, she could beat you up. She's like 6 foot tall. She could beat you. Maybe you need that. I don't know.
Perfect. That's what I like.
So here's what I learned. I learned the value of proximity to other people is that we'll never go as far on our own as we will together.
For sure.
And that girl got me an extra 8 miles after I was willing to give up. And so
Amazing,
just
dude. Wow.
squat up, guys. Squat up in the comments.
Yeah,
Squat up in
boy.
everything we're doing. Make sure this is not a solo sport. You will fail on your own. I promise you that.
Thank you. There's nothing that can beat that.
That's
Love you,
it.
dude.
Love you guys. We'll see
Love
you
you
next
guys.
week.
Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.